Up next, we have a team here joining us with an organization and something exciting going on. We have Craig Williams. You're in the studio this morning. Are you here live?
Yes, I am.
Okay, good. Yeah. We've known each other for a while, and originally, so part of your claim to fame, you've done many projects and enterprises and ventures, but you were on the, what episode was that? That was early on in the NBC Apprentice with Mr. Trump, right? Season 3.
Back when they were still writing curriculum at Ivy League schools, and we were getting about 15 million viewers a week.
Wow, yeah. And I always like the more of the entrepreneurial version rather than the celebrity version. But they're very different. But yeah, I definitely enjoyed that one. But you're also Last Man Standing?
Well, I was the last man standing on that season.
Oh, okay, yeah, not on the comedy show, yeah. Okay, nice. And joining you in the studio also is Neil Howe. And Neil, how are you doing this morning?
Great, Rich, thanks.
So you guys have some exciting news to share with us with the venture, but tell us a little bit about yourself. Like, Neil, what's your background? What brought you to where we're at today with this venture?
Well, my background for the last decade has been in SEO and, working with Google. There's always changes going on. And what I saw over the years, especially after the Penguin and Panda updates, is, people are just losing business if you're in the SEO community. After Penguin and Panda, people just lost like a third to 2/3 of their business because of these updates. So I noticed that Google was really putting the attention on the authorities in the market. So if you weren't an authority, they were making it harder for you to rank. And, an opportunity came up to where we could position people as authorities. So I'm stepping away from the SEO space and moving into authority marketing.
Cool. And we're going to learn about that in what y'all are doing there. But Craig, besides your big TV career or whatever, right, what have you been doing more recently leading up to this new venture and project?
Well, been doing a lot of consulting and executive coaching, personal coaching in the space of entrepreneurship.
And you've had some business ventures in the past as well, right?
Most definitely.
Yeah, absolutely. So now, currently, so y'all have teamed up for this Global Authority Agency. First of all, what is authority positioning? I mean, Neil, you kind of touched on it, but for the listener, what would, not having known about this, how would you describe that?
Well, it's a little like SEO. The whole point of SEO is to get other authority sites to link to yours so that you have more authority and you rank higher in the search engines. It's the same idea, but what we're doing now is we are positioning people on some of those major brands that already have the authority, such as ABC, NBC, CBS, CNN, and we're positioning them as an expert on these channels. So other people, that third-party credibility, they're talking about them as experts.
So what makes a difference when attracting new customers? I mean, what have y'all's experience been?
Well, definitely credibility is the true lure for making decisions, I think. We like to get feedback from our friends, whether it's a movie or a restaurant, but there's certain, in the space of business, you look for, you don't ask your friend about a business if they've never been in business. So you kind of refer to those icons or brands that speak to credibility. So what we found is, my experience has been directly. A lot of people wanted the association or sought the association, knowing my business background and what I've done with certain brands. And they were more interested sometimes in maybe the correlation to that brand as opposed to what I'd done. So what we do is we bring that together and we focus on real credible, bringing that credibility support to an individual. We're selective. We're not looking for anybody who just wants to associate with something greater than themselves, but we want them to have substance and significance to that credibility that we're offering them.
Yeah, so it's a true marriage of those two and bringing them together, and it's logical. And So what do you find a business owner's most common problems or challenges?
I think that standing out from the competition. There's different areas and there's different buyers, and you have to really establish yourself as, whatever position that you want. You have to establish that to your market. You look at companies like Walmart, who's the low price leader. That's their business, but it doesn't make any sense to try and compete with Walmart to be a low price leader, because you're just not going to be able to compete with them. And that's what I find many businesses do, is they're trying to compete with companies that are so much bigger than themselves, Whereas if they just turned and tried to position themselves in a different light as the best or to a specific market, they're going to have a lot more success. So I think standing out really is the problem that most businesses have.
Yeah, because there's so much competition, and we're living in a global world or whatever. Yeah, and everything happens in a nanosecond. Yeah, so how do you kind of, you got to do something different, right, than your competitor?
Well, not only just do something different, but acknowledge your difference as an individual, and that's what we focus on. We're not looking for an organization or association. We're looking for the individual.
Okay,
letting them tap into their specialty, their winning formulas, and focus on that. Because we're all experts, or we have a lot of experience or some credibility in our business or personal life.
Right.
We just don't think it's enough. Everybody wants to be like Mike or this person or that person as opposed to themselves.
Right.
So we like to focus on the individual.
So end game for business is increase profits, right? So is there a fast track, or is there a way that you can make that happen faster?
Well, fast track, I don't want to get into the mindset of this overnight.
But speed things up.
What we found is that the process is not as important because we're all in the process, and that true process, whether business or personal, is life. So that there's certain things you cannot change about that process. But, as far as when you're dealing with marketing and branding, that too is another process. But you probably already have that structure or infrastructure set in place. We like to complement it and bring that positioning part, where we put you in a place where you're able to focus on your strengths and show the world your strengths, and then poise yourself in that way where people honor that position.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. So this idea of becoming known as an expert or authority, what are some of the myths or mystiques or, with that lie in there?
I think, like Craig touched on, there's a lot of people that just don't believe that they are at that expert status. I think the fact is that if you are in business and you're good at what you do, and you can offer a service that is going to help somebody else get the desired result faster than they could themselves, then you are an expert, and you need to position yourself as that expert so that people know about you. Also, people are hung up on, well, I don't know everything that there is to know about my business. But again, if you know more than the person that you're working with and you can help them, that's where it is. And finally, people just don't think they're ready. Most people are a little scared of the positioning and the celebrity that we can bring them, and they're not sure if they're ready to step up. But the reality is that they are. They just need that extra push.
Well, I think this speaks to the proverb of you're never a prophet in your own land, right?
Most definitely.
So, you're doing amazing things, and if somebody outside of your market or, outside of your neighbors, right, and your friends and your business associate, if they heard what you're doing, like, that's amazing, right? But you kind of sometimes live in that bubble, right? And again, you're never a prophet in your own land. But when you guys provide the exposure and the marketing and the brand identity or association, authority, right? Then it's like, wow, this guy is truly amazing, right? And you've been holding that as a secret, right?
There's another proverb also. Matter of fact, it's today's proverb. But there's another proverb that speaks to having someone else speak to your greatness. That's more validity. And was said earlier, whether it was at ATTV or ATDC, for all of us, life is subject to change, and we're not always open to that change right away. And when we're talking about that at ATV, where you get to that AB, and then it's time to go to CD,
right.
And what brought you to where you are is not going to take you to where you want to go.
Yeah.
We're that nudge.
That's where you guys come.
Yeah, we're that nudge that pretty much puts you in a position where, okay, now you got to fly. It's like the eagle takes them up high and it drops them off. And I know you don't like using that one.
A little fear factor.
But as you know, the eagle.
But great things come up as a result. Right?
Most definitely. You either make it or you don't. But really, that's why we align ourselves with those people who we know have that gumption, that energy, that value to share with others. They just need that extra nudge.
This is pretty cool stuff. So what do you figure? Is there a time frame or a ballpark of how long someone might expect to be positioned as an authority in their market?
That's a good question.
Yeah, thank you.
That's the question I love to
Yeah.
answer or start answering anyway. So part of this process starts with an interview. So we get to the essence or the ethos of the individual that we're focusing on, and an article is drawn from there. Within a week of that time, that's when all the magic happens.
Wow.
Within a week. That's exciting too, because it's not, and I've had my hands in the SEL space as well, and that's usually a long organic process. Nothing wrong with that. And we're not just about immediate gratification, because we know what brought you to where you were was not where you are, was not immediate.
Yeah.
And as we all know, all overnight successes take anywhere from 10 to 20 years. So having said that, in my network as well as Neil's, we know a lot of people who've been plugging at it for a while. And those are the people we want to help with that nudge. And they know people as well in that circle.
And so what's next on the horizon for the agency here?
Well, we're looking to contact businesses and, share what we can do for them. I think, everybody that we have shared it with so far, the light bulb goes off. It's something that they really want. So, we're just right now, we're talking with a lot of Craig's contacts in around Atlanta, but we are looking to, move around the country nationwide and then eventually globally.
Yeah, to fulfill the name anyway.
Right, exactly. Globally, yeah.
Yeah, we are starting.
It's not called Buckhead Authority Agency.
No, it isn't. No, we're starting in our backyard,
Yeah,
of course,
sure.
and we have a lot of national as well as international relationships, and there's going to be chapters of this support there. In this industry, we're not the only ones who do what we do, but we're the ones that are focused in the space that we're focused at. I mean, you have people who want to help launch book deals, bestsellers, to people who want to literally be celebrities. We're like in the middle, and we're that launching pad for either one of those directions if that is a direction you want to go into. But mostly, we are looking for the results and bringing those value-added authorities up front.
Yeah, that's a follow-up question I had. Is there somebody in your sweet spot or your ideal candidate for listeners that their ears should perk up and thinking, these guys I would need to align with or connect with? Because we've been talking about tech and Atlanta Techville. You guys are not at ATV, right? So you're the outsider.
Been some of that, done some of that,
right.
But yeah.
So is there is it a broad spectrum or is there a who's in your wheelhouse? I guess ideally for as candidate.
Well, we deal with a lot of authors, speakers, consultants, coaches. We also deal with local business owners and entrepreneurs. So anybody that really wants to stand out from their competition. Going back to Google again, I think the search has changed a lot to where the consumers are more educated, and it's not just picking who's number one on Google anymore. Right. If you're going to spend a lot of money at a dentist, you're going to do that deeper search into, their page and what they've done and what kind of person they are. And that's where we come in, when other people are talking about them, if they've been featured on all these different national channels.
Right.
That is the deciding, conversion factor that gets people more business.
I mean, but can it be the dog walker and the carpet cleaner, or is it more?
I'll say a resounding yes.
Okay, nice. Yeah. So, so what are some of the offerings through the Global Authority Agency? What would someone expect to, see as a result of hiring or contracting y'all, I guess?
Well, like Craig says, we start out with that interview and then the article, and that article gets distributed to almost 200 of the major channels, your Fox, CBS, ABC, NBC affiliates, as well as many of the newspapers, Miami Herald, Boston Globe.
Wow.
So, it's really going all across the country. We have local channels like CBS Atlanta, and then we have channels out in Phoenix. We touch all over the country if you want to be national, as well as touching those local channels too.
So is it a fair question? How does this fit in public relations or PR? Or is this with a media spin or emphasis, or what makes it, I guess, kind of for our listeners, how would they distinguish a PR firm, PR agency from what y'all are doing? I think I know the answer, but just in case.
Well, I'll start off. It's more of a compliment,
Okay.
but we are focused on the national representation of the individual or the service.
And with the key objective, as we've talked about throughout the conversation, is the idea of positioning themselves as an authority, where a lot of times you hire a PR firm maybe to put out fires or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Or just to identify your brand.
Yeah.
Just to kind of, it's more marketing to get your brand name out there, right? And in some cases, they already kind of are the authority. They're just trying to maintain it or protect it.
Yeah.
Where y'all are looking for someone that, like you said, wants to take it to next, become the next big brand in their field. Is that correct?
Or go to the next level when you, as far as the first scenario as well. You get to that point where everything's familiar. You seem like you've gotten to that ceiling, and you need that breakthrough.
Right.
We could help as far as identifying a new change or a new product or service offering as that individual, and we want these individuals to be continuing contributors. Yes, some people there's an offering we have where this will supply an incredible exponential press release for you than you would with a typical press release.
Right.
But then if that's all you're needing, then we're good for that as well. But we're really looking for those who want to continue to be known as, that authority or that expert in their space.
Well, if they get that kind of exposure locally, nationally, and ultimately, like you said, globally, that's, great. There's nothing but good things can happen as a result of that. It's kind of like the Shark Tank. I'm a huge fan of the Shark Tank now, right? And I hear stories, people just being on there, even if they got no deal, right? They go home and their phone's ringing off the hook. Their website is shut down because of all the traffic.
Yeah.
So
the Oprah thing.
Yeah, if you're the only thing better than getting a book deal, right, is when she was did her daily show. Is if you were on her book list or list of books or top book, whatever, right?
Yeah.
Literally overnight. With what you're projecting is it does take time, but sometimes you'll be amazed that type of launch pad, and you guys providing that for the one-off operator, where that can take that person, whatever, It's pretty exciting stuff.
Most definitely.
Right.
Okay, so other thoughts, but let's first tell our listeners the best way to get in touch with you all and find out about your products, services, offerings, and all that good stuff. Yeah.
Well, I'll offer my cell phone number
Okay,
as well.
all right.
404-409-30673. I'm available. I do respond on LinkedIn, so
Okay.
reach out to me. I use that platform a great deal, but looking forward to hearing from the audience.
Okay. And Craig, everybody's information will be on the website as well with links and your LinkedIn, all that good stuff. And Neil, what's the best way for folks to...
Again, on LinkedIn, you can contact us both via LinkedIn or globalauthorityagency.com.
Okay, great. Well, gentlemen, thanks for being here. It was I feel like I learned more stuff than I probably expected to this morning. But it's all been amazing, good stuff, and we look forward to next week's episode.